While I'm on a roll doing stuff about chainsaws, this is some stuff about chains. How do I tell if my chain is of the correct tension? You'll see a lot of people online doing this, pulling the chain out. There's a much better way of doing it, because if you've got a long bar, it's going to come out much further. This chain is correctly tensioned. Good way of doing it is, if we can prop the GoPro somewhere, get hold of your saw with the chain brake off, and then with gloves on, preferably better gloves than these, pull it, and always pull it this way, and you should be able to move that relatively easily. You try and do it the other way and you slip, you're going to cut yourself. Also watch yourself on the dogs. See if we can pick this up. This is that long bar, exactly the same. If you can't move it, it's too tight. If it moves really easily, or if when you sit the chainsaw on the ground and it bags off the bottom of the bar, it's much too slack. How do I tell if my chain is blunt? Looking back at that long bar, you'll see on the guide bar got a lot of material built up. That's because these rails have got hot and resins out of the wood have caked onto the bar. If you also look, turn the light on the cutters, you'll see there's material also caked on the cutters. This is the side of the cutter, these are the tie straps, also got material caked on. And if we look on the actual cutters, you'll see that although this face has actually got a tolerably good edge on it, this cutter, move the camera in and out, is blunted here. This is damaged. Also see it on this one. You can see a shiny bit, and on this one you can see a shiny bit here if the GoPro picks it up. This chain is blunt. If it's more blunt on one side than another, say for instance you've been running this sort of saw with the guide bar in this orientation, and you knocked all the tops off these ones, you try and cut straight down, it'll cut in a curve. Especially if, like on this bar, you've got a lot of rock on the chain. This is where on the drive links, see where they go into the guide bar groove, and where on the sides of the guide bar groove. You can dress the wear in the guide bar groove out. Another way of telling whether your chain is blunt is you get bluing on the bar. You can see it here. I've dressed the burrs off this bar, but you can still see that it's been so blue at one stage. The bluing has gone all the way from here. I've dressed that out, and you've still got bluing down as far as here. This has been over 500 degrees centigrade to get to this temperature. And if you look at this chain, which I've started to clean up, you can see, hopefully, there's damage here. This is a semi-chisel chain, so you've got a curve here. There's damage here, and you can see the edge of this cutter. If I zoom in and out, if it's truly sharp, you shouldn't be able to actually see the edge, but this has got a blunt face on it. Damage here, damage here, and blunt. Damage here and blunt. But the person who's used this hasn't leant hard on the saw to force it to cut, so you haven't got the build up. that you have on that long bar chain. But this is a brand new chain. Right, hope that's useful.